It was a particularly nasty night, past 2 a.m., and I was just trying to get one last ride before calling it a night. The app buzzed, a pickup from a dive bar downtown. Not ideal, but money was money. The passenger was a man in his late 40s, wearing a slightly crumpled suit, with eyes that seemed to hold a heavy silence. He slid into the back seat without a word, and I started the trip. His destination was an old residential area I knew well. Too well, actually. As we drove, he asked me to take a specific shortcut, one I often used but wasn't on the GPS. "It shaves a few minutes off," he murmured, his voice surprisingly soft. Then he started commenting on my car. "Nice sedan. You take good care of it. Is that a new scratch on the passenger side mirror?" I hadn't even noticed it. My unease grew. The real chill set in when he casually asked, "How's your daughter doing, by the way? Is she still enjoying her art classes? I remember you mentioning her fondness for painting." My heart hammered against my ribs. I had never talked about my daughter to a passenger, not even online. Who was this man? I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. We pulled up to the address he'd given, an old house, dark and quiet. He got out slowly, then leaned back into the window. "It's a small world, isn't it, driver? Especially when you're looking for someone." He gave me a chillingly gentle smile, then melted into the shadows of the porch. My phone chimed, a perfect 5-star rating. But then, a new notification popped up from the Uber app. "New passenger request. Pick up at my old house's address." It was the house I grew up in, a house I hadn't lived in for 20 years, the house where my sister had disappeared. It was a shared ride, late on a Friday night. My first passenger, a young woman, was nervous, constantly checking her phone. We picked up the second one a few blocks later. I saw a man, dark silhouette against the streetlights, open the back door and slide in. He didn't say a word, just settled directly behind me. The young woman in the front seat kept glancing into her side mirror, her eyes wide. I assumed she was uncomfortable with the silent stranger in the back. The silence in the car was thick, punctuated only by the hum of the engine and the distant city sounds. I tried to make small talk. "Long week?" The woman just mumbled a non-committal response, her gaze darting to the back. I kept catching glimpses of the man in my rearview mirror. He just sat there, perfectly still, his eyes fixed somewhere in the space between the seats. No phone, no fidgeting, just a silent, unwavering presence. It started to feel unnerving. We dropped off the young woman first. She practically sprang out of the car, slamming the door shut. She didn't even look back. Then, it was just me and the silent man. The tension was almost unbearable. I waited for him to give me his destination, but he just sat there. Finally, I spoke, my voice a little too loud in the stillness. "Sir, where are you headed?" A raspy whisper came from directly behind me. She never saw me, did she? No one ever does. My blood ran cold. I immediately looked into the rearview mirror. The back seat was completely empty. My eyes darted to the back seat, then to the closed passenger door. It was locked. I spun around completely. No one. just the empty, dark upholstery. My phone buzzed beside me. Passenger dropped off. 5 stars. It was well past 3 a.m., and a thick fog had rolled in, making visibility terrible. I accepted a ride from an elderly woman, her profile picture showing a kind, wrinkled face. She was waiting on a deserted street corner, a small, worn handbag clutched in her hands. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, as she gave me an address far out of town, deep into the rural roads I rarely ventured. The GPS signal started to waver as we left the city limits. The fog grew denser, swallowing the world outside my headlights. She began to give me directions. Turn left here. No, not that one. The next dirt path, just barely visible. We navigated a maze of barely there tracks until we finally pulled up to what looked like an abandoned, dilapidated farm. The house was a skeletal silhouette against the swirling fog. "Just here," she said, her voice now barely audible, a faint sigh. "This is it." I stopped the car. She didn't move. Her eyes, which had seemed gentle before, now looked hollow, fixed straight ahead into the impenetrable fog. "You know," she whispered, "this is where he took me. This is where everyone ends up eventually." I looked at the dark, decaying farmhouse. A single, faint, flickering light briefly appeared in an upper window, then vanished. As I turned to ask her what she meant, to ask who he was, she was gone. The passenger door was still securely closed, locked from the inside, just as it had been. My heart pounded. My phone chimed, "Trip ended, 5 stars." But then, on the passenger seat where she had been sitting, lay a single, ancient, sepia-toned photograph. It was of a young woman, smiling, dressed in clothes from a bygone era, standing right in front of the very window where the light had just flickered.